Hi, I'm Scott Nygaard, editor of Acoustic Guitar. Carter-style guitar playing is primarily based around first-position chord shapes, but within that simple framework there are plenty of ways to make the music come to life, including simple hammer-ons and pull-offs, as well as chromatic and blue notes. In this lesson, we'll look at some typical embellishments that can be heard in music recorded and influenced by Mabel Carter. This lesson and the music you're about to hear was originally written by acoustic guitar contributor David Surrett. Most of the embellishments associated with Carter-style guitar playing are performed by taking advantage of the guitar's open strings. One common way to do this is by hammering onto a chord tone from a non-chord tone on an open string. G and C chords are a great place to get started with this because both open position chord shapes have a third on the second fret, allowing for easy hammer-ons from the open string. Example 1 adds this embellishment to a basic G chord strumming pattern. On beat 3 of each measure, pluck the open A string and then quickly hammer the middle finger of your fretting hand onto the second fret B note. In example 2, the same idea is used for the C chord. In these examples, the embellishments are eighth notes, so you should land the hammer-on right on the and of beat 3, so that both notes sound clearly. For more practice, examples 3 and 4 add hammer-ons to the next open string of the pattern, the D string for the G chord, and G string for the C chord, for a 3-measure practice pattern. Here's example 3. And here's example 4. Unlike the embellishments in examples 1 and 2, the additional hammer-ons in examples 3 and 4 move from a chord tone, the 5th, to a non-chord tone, the 6th, adding some extra melodic movement to the bass line. Now let's try some hammer-on embellishments for E minor and A minor chords. Here's E minor. And here's A minor. Here we're hammering onto the same notes as examples 1 and 2, but the overall effect is different because we're playing them over different chords. Most of the important chords in the keys of G, C, and D offer at least one option for this kind of embellishment. Here are some hammer-on licks that work for D and F, two of the other first position chords you're likely to run across. Here's D. And here's F. If you've had any experience playing hammer-ons, you can probably guess where we're headed next, the pull-off. Most of the hammer-ons in examples 1 through 7 were embellishments that led to a chord tone from a non-chord tone, adding extra rhythmic push without disrupting the sound of the chord. While pull-offs don't usually function in quite the same way, they still get plenty of use in Carter-style guitar playing. Example 8 is a nice lick in G that uses a pull-off as part of a run leading to the root of the G chord. To play the pull-off in measure 2, pick the B note and then pull your finger off the string to sound the open string. As with hammer-ons, this may take a bit of practice to get 2 distinct notes. To get a little more purchase on the open string note, pull the B note a bit toward the treble before removing your finger. It's good to remember that it's called a pull-off, not a lift-off. Example 9 shows the same idea on a C chord. So far, these embellishments have just used notes of the major scale, but old-time guitarists often use chromatic runs that move in half steps and include notes that aren't a part of the key. Examples 10A and 10B show a pair of ascending chromatic runs that climb from open string notes on the E and A strings, respectively, up to root notes G and C. The first fret notes in each run fall outside the diatonic major key, but sound great when used between 2 notes that are in the key. Here's example 10A. Here's example 10b. Example 11a moves from the 4 chord back to the 1 in the key of G. The run includes the flatted 7th note B flat of the C major chord. Used underneath a major chord like this, you might think of it as a blue note. The B flat is followed by a pull off to the open A string, and then, instead of moving directly to G, it moves down to the F sharp, a half step below the root. This run is shown again in example 11b in the key of C.